She won't say, kiss me, but her body already did. 6 signs. Psychology tricks. Love is not what you say. Love is what you do, what you signal, what you allow someone to feel without words. There's a shift that happens when you finally understand this. Attraction is rarely spoken, it is shown, and most men miss it because they are listening instead of observing. A woman will almost never look at you and clearly ask for a kiss. Not because she doesn't want it, but because saying it out loud feels too exposed, too vulnerable. So instead, her body takes over and communicates in a language most men were never taught to read. And here's the hard truth: you didn't miss your chance. Because of timing or bad luck, you missed it because you weren't fluent in what was actually being expressed right in front of you. Research has shown that the vast majority of romantic communication happens without words. Meaning, if you're waiting for verbal confirmation, you're ignoring the strongest signals being sent, like trying to understand a story while skipping most of its pages. And it gets deeper. Women naturally use dozens of subtle, repeated behaviors to express interest, not as games, but as invitations, as safe ways to say, I'm open, without risking rejection directly. The problem is not that the signs are hidden, it's that you've never been trained to recognize them, so what feels unclear to you is actually very clear on her side. She adjusts, lingers, positions herself, creates small openings again and again, hoping you will step forward with awareness and confidence. And this is where everything changes. When you stop chasing words and start reading presence, energy, and timing, you begin to see interactions differently, not as confusing situations, but as patterns unfolding right in front of you. The 6 signs you're about to understand are not tricks or manipulation. They are simply the natural rhythm of attraction, and one of them, the one that happens in the final moments before a kiss either happens or disappears, will make you rethink every moment you thought nothing was there, because the truth is, more often than you realize, she already gave the signal. You just didn't know how to see it. 1. The proximity collapse. Let's talk about something most men completely miss, not because they lack intelligence, but because no one ever taught them how to see it: the silent language of distance, what I call the proximity collapse. And once you understand it, your entire perception of attraction will sharpen overnight. A woman rarely announces her desire out loud. Instead, she communicates through movement, through subtle shifts that reveal far more than words ever could. And this is where psychology tricks and a deeper understanding of female psychology begin to matter in a very real, practical way. At first, she might stand or sit at a comfortable, socially acceptable distance. Nothing unusual, nothing that raises suspicion. But then something begins to change, slowly, almost invisibly. She starts closing the gap. Not abruptly. Never abruptly. That would break the rhythm. Instead, she leans in slightly when she laughs. She steps a little closer when the environment gives her an excuse. She angles her body toward you. She reduces the space inch by inch until suddenly, without realizing when it happened, she is standing inside your personal world, close enough that you can feel her presence, her warmth, her energy. That is not random. That is not accidental. That is a decision, even if it feels unconscious to her. You must understand this clearly. People protect their personal space instinctively. So when someone willingly gives it up, when they enter your intimate zone, defined in proxemics as anything within about 18 inches, they are not confused. They are not unaware. They are choosing connection. Edward T. Hall, the anthropologist who introduced these spatial zones, didn't just create theory. He gave you a map. And if you learn to read that map, you stop guessing, you stop hesitating, you stop missing moments that matter. But here's where most men fail, and this is where understanding how to fall in love, or at least how attraction builds, requires awareness, not just action. They focus only on her movement toward them, but they ignore her reaction to their movement toward her. That is the real test. Because attraction is not one-sided motion, it is a dance. If you lean in slightly and she holds her ground, stays present, keeps eye contact, that is not indifference. Don't misread it. That is acceptance. And acceptance is already a green light. But if you lean in and she mirrors you, If she leans closer too, if she reduces the distance even further, that is escalation. That is clarity. That is her saying, without saying anything, I'm here with you. And yet, so many men freeze in that moment. They hesitate. They overthink. They question reality instead of trusting what is right in front of them. Don't do that. Be present. Be aware. Be calm. Overthinking kills timing, and timing is everything. Let me make this even more real with a simple story, because stories stick where theory fades. A woman, let's call her Sarah, once shared a date experience that perfectly illustrates this. She sat next to a man on a park bench. At first, there was space between them, normal, expected. But as the conversation flowed, she began closing that space. Slowly, intentionally, she shifted closer. Their knees touched. She didn't pull away. In fact, she adjusted again to be even closer, creating a moment that was unmistakably charged with possibility. And what did the man do? He moved away. He literally created more distance, thinking he was being polite, respectful, considerate. In his mind, he was doing the right thing. In reality, he completely missed the signal. That moment collapsed, not because there was no attraction, but because there was no awareness. And that is the difference between men who understand female psychology and those who stay confused, stuck, wondering why opportunities slip through their fingers. Don't be that man. Respect matters, yes. Awareness matters more. You must learn the balance. Don't invade space recklessly. Don't rush. But also don't retreat when you are being invited forward. That is the key distinction. This is where psychology tricks are not manipulation. They are simply understanding human behavior at a deeper level. When you recognize the proximity collapse, you begin to operate with quiet confidence. You stop needing constant verbal confirmation because you can read the nonverbal truth. And that confidence changes everything. Your energy shifts. Your presence becomes grounded. You respond instead of react. And in modern life, where communication is often indirect and layered, this skill is not optional, it is essential. Many men think attraction is about saying the perfect line, making the perfect move, delivering the perfect moment. It's not. It's about awareness. It's about noticing what is already happening and having the courage to meet it. That is how to fall in love, or at least how to step into the moments where love begins, by being present enough to recognize when someone is moving toward you, not just physically, but emotionally. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, don't just listen to her words. Watch her distance. Notice the shifts. Feel the rhythm. If the space is closing, if she is stepping into your world, don't step back out of fear disguised as politeness. Stay there. Match her energy. Move with intention. Because attraction rarely announces itself loudly. It whispers. It leans in. It closes the gap quietly, patiently, waiting for you to notice. And when you finally do, everything changes. 2. The lip ritual. Sign number 2 is what I call the lip ritual, and yes, it's familiar, but don't get comfortable too quickly, because most men only read the surface and miss the signal entirely. They see a woman lick her lips, bite her lower lip, or casually apply lip balm and think, maybe. No, be sharper than that. That is only half the message. Studies from the Kinsey Institute confirm that lip-focused behaviors spike during moments of romantic interest. The body prepares itself. Quietly. Instinctively. Almost like it's rehearsing for contact before the mind even catches up. But here's where you must separate yourself from the average man. Don't just watch what she does. Watch where she looks while she does it. That is the difference between guessing and knowing. If she touches her lips while her eyes drift to yours, that's interesting. But if her gaze drops slowly, repeatedly, to your lips while she does it, that's not random. That is direction. That is intent. That is a signal wrapped in subtlety, waiting for a man who understands it. Be present. Be aware. A high-value man doesn't just observe behavior, he reads patterns. Researchers at the University of Kansas found that when someone's gaze consistently shifts to another person's lips during conversation, the likelihood of attraction exceeds 90%. Think about that. 90%. That's not confusion. That's clarity disguised as mystery. And yet most men hesitate. They overthink. They doubt. Don't do that. Don't talk yourself out of what is right in front of you. You must trust what you see when it aligns with human nature. Because attraction, at its core, is not complicated, it's just rarely understood. Now go deeper. Because the lip ritual doesn't stop at licking or biting. Watch for the quieter gestures. The ones that look accidental. A finger resting lightly on her lower lip. A slow trace along the edge of her mouth while she listens to you speak. That is not boredom. That is not distraction. That is her nervous system responding to stimulation. When the parasympathetic system activates under romantic tension, the body seeks calm. It self-soothes. And where does it go? To the lips, one of the most sensitive areas of the body. So understand this clearly. When she touches her lips while focused on you, she's not disengaging, she's regulating emotion. She's feeling something strong enough that her body is trying to balance it. That is powerful. That is rare. And that is your moment to stay grounded, not reactive. Don't rush. Don't lunge. Be composed. Masculine energy is not about speed, it's about control. Slow your movements. Hold eye contact just a second longer. Let the silence breathe. Because tension, when handled correctly, becomes connection. And connection is what allows you to attract women without force, without tricks, without performance. A high-value man doesn't chase signals. He recognizes them, respects them, and responds with calm confidence. That is what makes the difference. And here's the part most men miss entirely. There are always two conversations happening at once. The obvious one, the words, the laughter, the topic about where to eat or what movie to watch. And then there's the real one, the silent one, the one spoken through glances, pauses, and micro-movements. When she engages in the lip ritual while her attention locks onto your mouth, that second conversation becomes very clear. She is not just listening to you. She is imagining something beyond the conversation. That is the layer you must learn to see. Because once you do, everything changes. Don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it. But also, don't overreact. That is where many men fail. They finally notice the signal, and instead of staying grounded, they become eager, tense, predictable. And tension breaks. Attraction fades. You must remain steady. That is masculine energy at its finest, calm under pressure, aware without being reactive, confident without needing confirmation. So the next time you see it, the lip bite, the gloss, the subtle touch, pause. Don't just look at her lips. Watch her eyes. That is your compass. That is your confirmation. And if both align, understand this. The conversation above the surface may be casual, polite, ordinary. But beneath it, something far more electric is unfolding. And if you are present enough, aware enough, and grounded enough, you won't miss it. Now listen carefully. This is where most men hesitate and lose the moment. Don't overthink it. Don't ignore the signs right in front of you. When her body speaks, you must be the man who understands it. That is the difference between confusion and connection. If you're ready to stop missing these signals and start reading them with clarity, take action now. Drop this in the comments. I see what others miss. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp, real-world insight, and remember, attraction is rarely spoken, but it is always revealed. 3. The Hair Symphony. The Hair Symphony, sign number 3. And you need to understand this with precision, not guesswork, not hope, not fantasy, but clear observation rooted in old Stoic wisdom. Because when you begin to see behavior for what it is, not what you wish it to be, you step into control, into clarity, into what I call an iron mind. And that is where Stoicism win begins in your life and in your relationships. Now listen carefully. When a woman repeatedly touches, twirls, flips, or adjusts her hair in your presence, this is not random. This is not meaningless. This is not just a habit. This is a neurological response unfolding in real time, often beyond her conscious awareness. And as Dr. David Givens explains in his work on courtship signals, hair manipulation is one of the oldest and most universal signals of attraction across human history. Meaning, this is not modern behavior. This is not social media influence. This is biology. This is instinct. This is deeply wired into human interaction. And when you understand that, you stop overthinking and start reading the moment correctly. Now, here is where most men fail. They see the gesture, but they lack the discipline to interpret the pattern. And without pattern recognition, you are blind. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And that strength comes from your ability to stay calm, observe, and connect the dots without rushing, without forcing, without breaking the natural rhythm of the moment. Because the hair symphony is exactly that, a sequence, a rhythm, a repeated expression of internal state. When a woman touches her hair once, it may mean nothing. But when she does it again and again and again, 5, 6, 7 times within a single interaction, that is no longer coincidence. That is communication. And you must train yourself to see repetition as intention, not accident. Now understand the dual purpose behind this behavior, because this is where depth separates you from the average man. The first layer is self-grooming. She is adjusting, refining, presenting herself in a way that she believes is more appealing to you. And this is subtle but powerful because attraction often expresses itself through small acts of self-correction, small refinements, small unconscious efforts to be seen at her best. The second layer is attention direction. She is guiding your eyes, without words, toward her face, her neck, her presence. And this is critical because attention is currency. And where attention flows, connection grows. If she is directing your attention, she is inviting your focus. And that is not something you ignore. That is something you recognize and respond to with calm awareness. Now here is the moment that changes everything. When she sweeps her hair to one side and exposes her neck, that is not style, that is signal. Because the neck is one of the most vulnerable areas of the human body. Evolution has trained us to protect it, to guard it, to hide it when we feel unsafe. So when she reveals it in your presence, she is not just adjusting her hair. She is demonstrating trust, openness, and a level of comfort that goes beyond surface interaction. If you miss that, you are missing one of the clearest nonverbal invitations you will ever receive. But listen, do not rush. Do not pounce. Do not break the moment with impatience. Because this is where most men lose the opportunity. They react instead of responding. They move too fast. They speak too much. They try to force something that is already unfolding naturally. As Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. So master your impulses. Master your timing. Master your presence. Because attraction grows in space, not pressure. In modern life, where distractions are constant and attention spans are short, the man who can slow down, observe, and remain grounded becomes rare, becomes valuable, becomes unforgettable. And that is where Stoicism win becomes real. Not as theory, but as lived behavior. Now bring this into your everyday interactions, whether you are on a date, in a conversation, or even in a casual setting. Your role is not to chase signals. Your role is to notice them, to register them, to stay composed. Because the moment you become reactive, you lose your edge. You lose your clarity. You lose the quiet strength that defines an iron mind. And here is the deeper truth. You are not trying to get anything from her. You are aligning with what is already being offered. You are matching her level of comfort, her level of openness, her level of energy. And when you do that, connection becomes effortless, natural, almost inevitable. Repeat this to yourself. Observe, don't assume. Notice, don't rush. Respond, don't react. This is the discipline that separates confusion from clarity. Confusion keeps most men stuck, guessing, overthinking, second-guessing every interaction. But the man grounded in old Stoic wisdom moves with certainty, with calm, with purpose. Now understand this clearly. The hair symphony is not about hair. It is about emotion finding an outlet. It is about attraction expressing itself through movement. It is about the body speaking when words remain silent. And if you train yourself to listen, to truly listen with your eyes, you will start to see patterns everywhere. Not just here, but in every interaction you have. And when you see clearly, you act clearly. When you act clearly, you lead the moment without force, without pressure, without confusion. This is how you build presence. This is how you create connection. This is how you embody Stoicism when in real life. So the next time you are in that moment and you notice her fingers moving through her hair again and again, don't ignore it. Don't overanalyze it. Simply recognize it. Stay grounded. Hold your composure. And let the moment develop. Because attraction, when understood, does not need to be chased. It reveals itself, step by step, signal by signal, like a symphony unfolding. And your job is not to interrupt the music. Your job is to hear it, to feel it, and to move in harmony with it, with an iron mind, guided by old Stoic wisdom. And that is how you win, not just in attraction, but in life. 4. The stillness before the storm. The stillness before the storm. This is where everything either comes together or quietly falls apart, and most men never even realize they were standing at the edge of something powerful because they misread silence as absence instead of presence. Understand this clearly. When a woman is truly leaning into a moment of connection, right before a kiss, right before intimacy begins, she does not become louder, she becomes quieter, and that silence is not emptiness. It is focus, it is anticipation, it is emotional alignment tightening between two people. And if you don't understand this, you will break moments that were already working in your favor. This is where psychology tricks and an understanding of female psychology separate the aware man from the confused one, because what looks like nothing happening is actually everything happening beneath the surface. Her movements slow down, her energy softens, her body stops searching and starts settling, and that is not coincidence. That is her nervous system preparing for closeness. If you pay attention, you will see it. Her blinking becomes slower, her breathing deeper, her voice lowers in tone, softer, more controlled, and her eye contact lingers just a second longer than usual, not by accident, but by instinct. Don't ignore that. Don't talk over it. Don't rush past it. Because that is the doorway. That is the moment where she is no longer evaluating you from a distance, but experiencing you up close. And here is where many men fail, not because they lack attraction, but because they lack understanding of how to fall in love moments unfold in real life, not through big gestures, but through small, quiet shifts. They feel the silence and they panic. They assume something is wrong. They think they need to fix the moment. So they speak too fast, joke too quickly, move too abruptly, and in doing so, they destroy the very tension that was building connection. Don't do that. Don't interrupt stillness, because stillness is not a gap to fill, it is a signal to read. Be calm, be present, be aware. That is what matters. This phenomenon is not just poetic, it is grounded in psychophysiology, where the body transitions briefly into a calmer, parasympathetic state before a moment of emotional or physical intensity, almost like a pause before impact. And that pause is where connection becomes real, where attraction becomes tangible. In the language of female psychology, this is the moment where she is no longer asking, "Do I like him?" but instead feeling, "I want this." And if you miss that shift, you miss everything. Studies like those from Dr. Arthur Aaron remind us that sustained eye contact, even for just a few seconds, can create powerful emotional bonds. And when she holds your gaze in that quiet, steady way without pulling back, without distracting herself, without breaking the tension, she is not uncomfortable. She is engaged, and more importantly, she is allowing you into her space emotionally. That is not something to overlook. That is something to respect and respond to with equal calmness. Don't rush forward nervously. Don't hesitate endlessly. Find that balance where your actions match the energy of the moment. Be grounded. Be intentional. That is the difference. And here is the truth most men never hear. Attraction often peaks in silence, not in conversation, not in performance, but in presence. And if you cannot sit comfortably in that silence, you will always feel the need to fill it, and that need will sabotage you. Psychology tricks are not about manipulation. They're about awareness, about recognizing patterns that already exist in human behavior. And this moment, the stillness before the storm, is one of the clearest patterns you will ever encounter if you learn to see it. Think back to moments in your life where everything felt charged, where the world seemed to narrow down to just you and her, where time slowed slightly and the air felt heavier. That was not your imagination. That was your nervous system syncing with hers. That was connection forming in real time. And if you did nothing, if you hesitated, if you broke it with unnecessary words, that moment didn't disappear randomly. It ended because you stepped out of alignment with it. Don't blame yourself, but learn from it, because awareness is what turns past confusion into future confidence. If you want to understand how to fall in love in a real, grounded way, you must learn to recognize these subtle transitions, these quiet signals that speak louder than words. Don't expect her to say, "Kiss me," because most of the time she won't, not because she doesn't want it, but because attraction is rarely expressed that directly. It is expressed through energy, through presence, through these small but powerful shifts. And if you are the kind of man who can read that, who can stay calm in that silence instead of running from it, you create a different kind of experience, one that feels natural, effortless, and deeply connected. Be that man, the one who doesn't panic when things slow down, the one who understands that silence is not rejection, it is invitation. That is where real confidence shows, not in loudness, not in constant talking, but in the ability to hold a moment without trying to control it. And remember this, every time you interrupt that stillness with nervous energy, you teach her that you are not comfortable in emotional depth, and she will pull back, not consciously, but instinctively. But every time you match her calm with your own calm, every time you stay present instead of reactive, you build trust, you build attraction, you build something that goes beyond surface level interaction. This is why understanding psychology tricks and female psychology is not about tactics. It is about perception, about seeing what others overlook. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You will start recognizing these moments everywhere. Those quiet pauses, those lingering glances, those subtle shifts in tone and energy. And instead of feeling confused, you will feel clear. You will know when to act and when to wait. Don't chase the moment. Don't force it. Let it come to you, and when it does, meet it with intention, not hesitation. That is how you stop missing opportunities. That is how you stop walking away wondering, what if? Because you will know exactly what that moment is when it appears again. It is not random. It is not mysterious. It is a pattern. And once you understand it, you move differently, you respond differently, you become someone who doesn't just experience attraction, but understands it, navigates it, and builds on it with quiet confidence. If this hit you, don't ignore it. This is the moment most men miss. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp insight, and lock this into your mindset. Then go to the comments and write this sentence to remind yourself every day, silence isn't confusion. It's the moment I must act. 5. The mirroring effect. The mirroring effect is one of the most powerful yet overlooked signals of attraction, and once you understand it, you will never look at interactions the same way again. It begins simply. You lean forward, she leans forward. You tilt your head, she tilts hers. You take a sip of your drink, she follows. Don't dismiss this as coincidence. Don't assume it's just politeness. That is your first mistake. Mirroring is not conscious mimicry. It is the brain's natural way of building rapport and signaling alignment. According to a study published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior, mirroring can increase perceived attraction by up to 30%, and that number alone should make you pay attention. But here's what most men fail to see: mirroring evolves. At first, it is broad and easy to miss, but as attraction deepens, it becomes sharper, more precise, and more intimate. When a woman is entering a kiss-ready state, her mirroring becomes hyper-focused. She doesn't just copy your posture, she begins to match your rhythm. If you slow down, she slows down. If you soften your smile, she reflects it. If you pause, she holds that silence with you. It's like two instruments tuning to the same frequency right before a duet begins, and that moment is where tension quietly builds. Don't rush it. Be present in it, because this is where connection becomes undeniable. One of the most fascinating layers of this process is breathing. Yes, breathing. When attraction intensifies, people subconsciously begin to synchronize their breathing patterns. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it changes the entire atmosphere between you. The space becomes quieter, closer, more charged. You must not ignore the shift. This is not random. This is alignment happening in real time. And then comes the most telling signal of all, head tilt matching. If you tilt your head slightly to one side and she instinctively tilts hers to the opposite side, you have both just positioned yourselves for a kiss without saying a single word. Your faces begin to angle toward each other like two puzzle pieces preparing to connect. This is not luck. This is unconscious choreography, and it is one of the clearest signs that attraction has reached a critical point. But listen carefully. Don't force this. Don't exaggerate your movements hoping she will follow. That is not how a high-value man operates. A high-value man does not chase signals, he recognizes them. He remains calm, grounded, and aware. That is how he uses his masculine energy to attract women naturally, without manipulation or confusion. Mirroring escalates when interest is genuine. If she is only mildly interested, the mirroring will be light and inconsistent. But if she is truly drawn to you, it becomes frequent, precise, and synchronized. You move, she follows. You pause, she meets you there. You lean in slightly, she does not pull away. This progression matters because attraction is not a switch. It is a dimmer, and mirroring shows you exactly how strong that attraction is becoming. Another reason mirroring is so powerful is because it is almost impossible to fake. People can fake smiles, words, and even interest for a short time, but sustained, consistent mirroring comes from the subconscious. If she is not genuinely attracted, her body will not keep up. The rhythm will break. The alignment will disappear. No amount of politeness can override that. So don't rely only on what she says. Watch what she does. Her body will always tell the truth before her words do. This is where many men go wrong. They wait for verbal confirmation. They expect her to say, "Kiss me." But that almost never happens. Attraction speaks through signals, not statements. You must learn to read that language. And this is where your masculine energy becomes essential. Not loud, not aggressive, calm, steady, and aware. You must be the man who understands timing. The man who does not hesitate when the moment is clear, but also does not rush when it is not. That is the mindset of a high-value man, and that is how he continues to attract women with confidence and clarity. When you notice consistent mirroring, when her posture, rhythm, and expressions align with yours, you are no longer guessing. You are responding to something real. In that moment, the interaction changes. The conversation slows. The space becomes more intimate. There is a softness, a stillness, a quiet tension that pulls both of you closer. That is the window. Don't overthink it. Don't freeze. Attraction builds, and then it asks to be acted upon. But act with awareness, not assumption. If the mirroring is natural, consistent, and increasing, you are not taking a risk, you are following a pattern. That is how you move with precision. That is how you attract women without confusion. And remember, mirroring is not just physical. It is emotional. She may begin to match your tone, your energy, even your humor. You relax, she opens up. You become more playful, she responds in kind. This emotional alignment is just as important because a kiss is not just physical contact. It is the result of emotional and physical connection meeting at the same point. So be observant. Be patient. Be present. Do not ignore what is right in front of you. A man rooted in his masculine energy does not need constant reassurance. He trusts patterns. He understands signals. He respects timing. That is what makes a high-value man different. He does not chase, and he does not hesitate. He reads, he feels, and when the moment arrives, he acts with quiet confidence. And here is the truth you must remember. When real mirroring is happening, consistent, natural, undeniable, you are no longer trying to create attraction. It is already there. The connection has already begun. The only question left is whether you will recognize it and respond, because she may never say the words, but her body already did. 6. The manufactured excuse to stay. The manufactured excuse to stay. This is where everything comes together, and if you miss it, you don't just miss a moment, you miss a message she carefully built for you. Listen closely. Watch closely. Because this is not random behavior. This is intention wrapped in subtlety. When the night is over, when the dinner is finished, when the walk has reached its natural end, when you're standing by her car or at her door, logic says the interaction is done, but emotion says something else, and that's where most men fail to read the room. A woman who is ready to be kissed will not always say it, but she will create space for it. She will stretch time. She will bend the ending. She will manufacture a reason to stay. Suddenly, she remembers a story that could have been told an hour ago. Suddenly, her keys become complicated. Suddenly, she asks a question she already knows the answer to. This is not confusion. This is not coincidence. This is design. As the old Stoic wisdom teaches, what stands in the way becomes the way. That delay you see is not an obstacle, it is the invitation. She is not prolonging the moment because she is unsure. She is prolonging it because she is hoping you will step into it. You must understand this. You must recognize this. You must act on this. Because in that moment, she is doing her part. The door is not just open, it is being held open. And yet, too many men stand there, polite, hesitant, trapped in their own overthinking, letting the moment slip away while searching for certainty that will never come. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And this is where your power lies. Not in controlling her signals, but in mastering your response to them. Don't freeze. Don't second guess. Don't wait for perfect clarity. There is no perfect clarity. There is only awareness and action. A high-value man understands this. A man with an iron mind sees beyond the surface. He reads energy, not just words. He feels the rhythm of the moment and moves with it, not against it. This is what Stoicism win is about, not suppressing emotion, but mastering it, directing it, using it with precision. The data supports this reality. A large percentage of women prefer the man to initiate the first kiss, but more importantly, an even larger percentage admit they create the conditions for it to happen. Think about that. She is setting the stage. She is arranging the environment. She is giving you time. And then she waits. That waiting is not passive. It is active patience. It is hope mixed with curiosity. Will he understand? Will he step forward? Will he lead? And here is the truth most men avoid. Hesitation is louder than rejection. When you hesitate, you are communicating uncertainty. When you delay, you are signaling doubt. And attraction does not grow in doubt, it fades in it. Don't misunderstand this. This is not about rushing. This is not about forcing anything. This is about recognizing alignment and responding with calm confidence. Be grounded. Be present. Be decisive. That is masculine energy at its core, not loud, not aggressive, but clear and steady. In modern life, where distractions are endless and attention is fragmented, moments like these are rare and fragile. People are more guarded, more cautious, more distracted. So when someone chooses to slow down time for you, when someone chooses to extend a goodbye, that is not small, it is significant. It is intentional. It is a signal wrapped in subtlety. And if you miss it, life moves on quickly. She walks inside. The door closes. The moment dissolves. And what remains is a quiet confusion on both sides, you wondering what you missed, and her wondering why you didn't see what was right in front of you. Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." That lingering moment, that is opportunity. Your awareness, your composure, your iron mind, that is preparation. When the two meet, something real happens. But if preparation is missing, opportunity passes unnoticed. Don't let that be your pattern. Don't let hesitation define your interactions. Train yourself to observe. Train yourself to feel the shift in energy. Train yourself to trust your judgment. Because confidence is not about knowing everything, it's about acting even when you don't know everything. That is strength. That is growth. That is Stoicism when in action. Repeat this to yourself. If she stays, there is a reason. If she lingers, there is a reason. If she delays the ending, there is a reason. And that reason is not random, it is emotional alignment waiting for direction. You must be the one who gives it direction, not with force, not with pressure, but with calm, grounded certainty. That is what separates the average man from the man who truly understands human connection. The high value man does not chase signals, he recognizes them. He does not wait endlessly, he acts appropriately. He does not fear the moment, he steps into it. Because he knows that life rewards clarity, not hesitation. So the next time you find yourself in that extended goodbye, don't overthink it. Don't analyze it to death. Feel it, read it, respond to it. That extra minute she created, it is not empty. It is full of meaning. It is full of possibility. And whether that possibility becomes something real or fades into a missed opportunity depends entirely on you. Build that iron mind. Live that old Stoic wisdom. Practice Stoicism when not just in philosophy, but in action. Because in the end, success in these moments is not about luck. It is about awareness, timing, and the courage to move when the moment calls your name. Hey, I truly appreciate you being here with me all the way to the end. That already says something about you. You're not just scrolling, you're actually trying to understand, to improve, to become sharper. And that matters. Now listen, everything we talked about today, the proximity, the subtle lip movements, the way she plays with her hair, that quiet pause right before something happens, none of it is about tricks or manipulation. It's about awareness. Simple, grounded awareness. Most people miss these moments not because they're complicated, but because they're distracted. They're in their heads. They're thinking about what to say next instead of paying attention to what's happening right now. Don't be that man. Be present. Slow down. Observe. Feel the moment instead of forcing it. Because the truth is, when a woman is giving you these signals, she's already inviting you into that moment. You just need the clarity to recognize it and the calm confidence to meet her there. But let me be very clear about something important. These signs are not permission. They are not a guarantee. Respect always comes first. Awareness without respect becomes arrogance, and that will cost you every time. What makes you stand out, the thing that makes you unforgettable, is not that you read signals better than other men. It's that you make her feel seen, understood, and comfortable without pressure. In a world where everyone is rushing, the man who can stay calm, grounded, and attentive becomes rare. And rare gets remembered. So here's my sincere advice to you. Don't chase the kiss. Build the connection that makes the kiss inevitable. Don't focus on the outcome. Focus on the experience. When you do that, everything else falls into place naturally. Now, before you leave, understand this. What you learned today is only half of the equation. You now know how to recognize the moment. That's powerful. But the other half, the part most men never learn, is how to create that moment from the beginning. How to build that emotional tension, that comfort, that subtle attraction over time. That's what leads to these signs showing up in the first place. And that's exactly what I break down in the next video. If this video showed you how to read the final chapter, the next one shows you how to write the entire story from the very beginning. I'm not saying this casually, I'm telling you directly, if you leave now, you're walking away with half the understanding. And half the understanding leads to hesitation, confusion, missed opportunities. Don't do that to yourself. The next video is on your screen right now. Click it, learn it, apply it, and step into the kind of calm, confident presence that people feel the moment you walk into the room. I'll see you there.